motion we keep the officers the same as last year.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, keep the officers the same, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Larry.
You get the license number off that truck before it ran over you?
Okay, so we have our, you might take a look at your annual appointments. Can we have, and this was new this year, appointment to the Solid Waste District Board. So if any of you are interested in doing it, that would be wonderful. If we don't, it doesn't have to be one of us, we can appoint someone. If anybody wants to do it, that'd be fine. If you don't want to do it, if we don't, well, we'll have to come up with somebody. You want to monkey with that, Cameron?
I'll do it.
Would you be willing to do it?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll put you down. Okay, Cameron will do that. We get down to the alcohol board. Jerry McMullen has requested to be replaced. I spoke with George Nicholas, the former commissioner. He's willing to do it. George has experience in that business, and he's no longer active in his Vermilion County business, so I don't think there's a conflict there. Just a couple editing things that I already talked to the auditors, or I talked to Henry about. Bob Rusk is not our appointment. He is the judge's appointment, as well as Nicole Crum is the judge's appointment, so they just need to be stricken from our lists. Brad Craycraft is willing to serve again. Katie is again recommended. Kim Shorter and Derek Davis, correct? We won't deal with the library appointments until it's up. That would be when Randy writes. When we get down to what Stanball had, Cameron, would you be willing to take that? That kind
Of course.
so Cameron will replace Stanball on that. They meet. I'm not sure how often they meet. We talked to Chris O'Brien. He handles that. Bob Clutter still, I think, will be our attorney. Anything else you want to discuss? So we'll need a motion to adopt those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to adopt the appointments. All in favor?
Aye.
Katie?
Okay, just a few things. I'm coming into my busy season. We have rolled the mobile homes to the auditor, and they're working on that. We have balanced on the total value, but we have not yet balanced on what's res and what's not res. As soon as that's done, I will let the state know. We have PETA hearings Monday and Tuesday. We had 88 total appeals, which is the largest I've ever had. But we had some major changes out at Raccoon Lake, and by the time it was all said and done, initially 11 people wanted to go before the PETA. And before we actually had the hearings, we got it down to 6. That's pretty darn good, in my opinion. And that's, we've had those hearings. I sent out notices yesterday as to what was decided, and we'll go from there. Mrs. Hatke has filed another 136 for exemption for her flowage easement out of the lake with my office after her PETA hearing on Tuesday. We will deal with that. We are now at the tax court. The tax court, which is part of the Supreme Court, the Indiana Supreme Court has not accepted her case yet, but they have given me notice that they do have the case. So then it will be up to them whether they accept the case or decline the case, and then we'll go from there.
And I assume Marilyn will probably file a motion to dismiss or something.
She has already put in her appearance. They had to acknowledge that, and then she's going to file dismissals on those. We'll go from there. We are working on new construction currently, and that's already started. We are in Union. I'm having them do the biggest ones first. Tyler Technologies is going to give me 2 people to get that done because I want to be ahead of the game on our ratio study for no extra charges as part of our contract, but they're going to have 2 people here getting that taken care of. That way we can get ready for the ratio studies, and we're doing our sales analysis right now. And Personal property letters have been sent out. A change I made this year to personal property is a lot of times people did not use our forms. They either printed their own, their CPAs used their own, etc. So I sent out letters. Those that call me and they need me to email or to mail them or scan them and send them, I'm doing that. I cut my order more than half on my forms. And you can also file online, although right now, for the taxpayer side, it's working fine. The state's already, Roy says sorry. The state's already revamping our site. We can't even get into the filings yet. And I know we have 4 filings in there currently. So we'll see how this digital age of filing personal property goes. Other than that,
It's a good idea, it's just got a few bugs still on the taxpayer side too.
okay, yeah, they took ours totally down. We can't even look at them yet. I was part of the test group that did the testing for it, and we found bugs on the assessor side, and I think that's why they took it down to revamp it. But it's not up yet. They're hoping maybe by tomorrow for our side of it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Sheriff?
I've got the commissary report that was submitted at the beginning of the year and end of the year. There's one copy for your office and that too.
Okay. You want it in there?
I think we started out here last year at 50-some thousand. We ended up at 43,000 for commissary, so still pretty good. 45 current inmates, so it's about half full, but we cut back again on due to COVID on who we're doing intake on at the jail. Currently, there's 0 staff or 0 inmates that are affected with COVID right now. There was 4 about 2 weeks ago. We're fully staffed except for 1 jail officer, so we're going to be doing a hiring process soon. And we billed $13,275 for December inmate housing, mainly for DOC or parole violators. There was no out-of-county holds, just mainly again due to COVID. And then the only other thing I had was the sheriff's salary contract. I don't know if you'll do that now or later on.
We have it in our packet. I mean, it's my understanding from talking to you, well, it's the same contract we've used.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Still $85,000 a year in lieu of taking other fees. It's been the same price for whatever, 18 years, 20 years.
So we might go ahead and just act on that since we're here, if you don't mind. Like I said, the contract copy's in your packet somewhere. So
Move approval.
motion been made and seconded to approve the contract for the sheriff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you think after all this, the COVID business is over, whenever that may be, that out-of-county holds will go back to being something like it used to be, or there's a lot of jail construction going on in this part of the state?
Hard to say. I think Vigo County's jail has been a little bit slower than what they thought. I know Vermilion County is doing an addition. So it's kind of, Fountain County is open now. They were going to take some inmates, but of course that hadn't happened yet from other counties. So I think there's going to be some. I don't know if there'll be as much, but I mean, that may be, I don't know what Vigo County is. I don't know if we're a year away or still 2 years away.
What was it, just 20, end of 22? I don't know. I heard it on the radio. I've forgotten it there.
I know originally it was, but I don't know if that's still
But
the
it's
same.
doubling in size. I mean, they're going from a capacity of a little over 2 to 400 and some, so it's...
And I think that they'll still fill it with their
Oh,
own.
well,
So.
probably.
Yeah, they'll just arrest more people. I mean, it's,
Yeah, and it's, I
so
don't
they're still
know,
gonna need.
basically you gotta commit a high level felony to stay in their jail. And that's the way it's been for 4 years, so they've been trying to cut people out the whole time even before COVID, so.
Which is kind of scary in a way. I mean, you know, we just turn them back out.
So yeah, hopefully.
I just wondered. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to say right now, but hopefully.
Yeah. Any other questions for the sheriff? Chris?
Yeah. Hey, the county was awarded several grants, and I wanted to bring those up to you and tell you how much they were and what we plan on using them for. The first grant is the easiest one, is the Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant. This was done through the LEPC. It's a little over $7 grand, and we're going to use that to hire somebody to write our emergency plan. The next one is we got the state Homeland Security Grant. This was over $200,000, and we're looking at buying cameras, $200,000 worth of cameras. So these are, the first ones are, the biggest thing are going to be these mobile cameras that are, think of it as a generator with a pole and a camera on top that you can use for, you can use to cover Bridge Festival, the 4-H fair, but it allows video surveillance of an area, and it would support any type of investigation. We put it in under counterterrorism stuff. That's how we were able to get it. It's also going to be useful if you have vandalism, like Bloomingdale, they had vandalism. If you put those cameras up, it should deter it and help with that. The second camera is another automatic license plate reader, which would get installed. And then the third is 3 different cameras that the detective would use to help with his investigations. The next grant was from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. It was for a little over $37,000. Most of that money is going to pay for the courthouse security salary. It would be, right now you guys put up, I think about, when you put all the numbers together, about $28,000, including taxes and stuff. This would complement that with about another $27,000. So you would have somebody there for 40 hours a week, like we had all of last year. And that should push it out for the whole year, all the way up to January of 2022. And then there's some equipment that we were going to get for the jail, basically some sterilizers, and then pay for some gloves that the Sheriff's Department actually already bought. The last one is a continuation of a grant that we had, that we were awarded last year. And this is, so it's a little over $55,000, and it's helping us upgrade the computers down at the dispatch in the Sheriff's office. So if there's no complaints, I just, it's money.
The automatic license plate reader.
Yes. So it's similar to the ones that we already have, the Sheriff's Department already have installed. Basically, it's a camera that gets plugged, goes up on a route where the Sheriff's Department kind of decides, traffic comes in. If a car drives by and has like a plate that's already registered in the system, like a stolen car, it'll, I believe it sends out a text messages to the officers on duty. Rockville Police, they have one here in Rockville, and then the Sheriff's Department, I think, has 2 operations. This would bring 4 in the county, 3 belonging to the Sheriff's Department.
Well, I think the sheriff knows that we don't want to use for
Speeding
tickets and stuff like that.
And it's mainly criminal investigations. If we have burglaries or something, that we can go back and look into.
I don't think that's even legal, is it, for you to give a speeding ticket based on?
There's not even a radar in the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give a speeding ticket with it.
It'll tell you if their, information's or their registration's expired. It'll tell you if they're suspended or a habitual traffic violator. Like Chris said, it'll tell you if the plate's stolen, where it's stolen out of. There are some, plates that read the same as other states, so you have to pay attention to what it says. But it's pretty helpful.
Well, that's good. I mean, we're all fine with that. We just don't want it to turn into be a harassment of citizens.
We've had one for, I don't know, maybe 4 years now.
You and I talked about when we first got it, that was what you were doing with it.
Yeah, it's mainly a criminal investigation.
Yeah, and that's fine.
We've solved some burglaries with it.
Well, it's like these cameras. I mean, it's helpful. I know I've seen you guys out looking at video footage of even private businesses to see if we can spot a certain vehicle or something, some 4-wheeler that went by or something. So that's all legit. That sounds all think good to us, Chris.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Guess that's all of the department.
Julie's reports in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I can make mention of that, I guess. Julie's not here, but her monthly report is in there for your information. Just let you read that yourself. Okay, approval of the minutes for the prior meetings.
Motion to approve the minutes from December 10th and December 29th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, additional appropriations, we're gonna talk about those, Roy, I assume.
Okay, so we have two additional appropriations in front of us. These are both kind of carryovers from last year, things that went on last year. The first one from Seeded or Lit Edit, it's now known, is for repair parts for the highway for $250,000. If you remember when we were working this budget, there was not, the highway funding obviously dramatically reduced due to the implications from the virus, and we moved to this one line item, zeroed it in the NVH fund with the agreement with the highway department that we would fund that from the edit. Having been that the budget had been advertised at that point, we did not have the funds advertised to do that, so this will solve that issue. So we have that one in front of us, and the second one is for the plat book fund, $44,469.13, and that is for the book scanning portal business that the auditor requested from the CARES Act group. That of course did not get reimbursed because the process changed to reimburse salaries. We had made the agreement at that point that we would fund this out of the plat book fund. So that's what those both are for.
Any questions?
Motion to approve additional appropriations.
Second.
Motion been made, second, to approve the additional appropriations, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There are no transfers, reappropriations.
My understanding, there's two of these here. One of them is for capital credits in the RMC that would be reappropriated for $81.14 would be reappropriated to the, I believe that's the utilities line, the Commissioner's Fund, or Commissioner's Department of the General Fund. 5100, I believe that's what that one is. Verify that. Yes, it is. And the other is for the insurance reimbursement for the totaling of the Ford Taurus vehicle, Sheriff's Department. We've asked that to be reappropriated to public safety, to the vehicles line. That's the line that was used to purchase the replacement vehicle that we talked about a month or two ago. So its value of that was $5,857.50.
Questions?
Motion to approve reappropriations.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We got 5875 out of the doors. It's
Yeah.
So we did rather well.
Did all right with that, right?
Considering the
Yeah,
miles
it
on
was
it.
1,400 on trade-in, so yeah, I don't.
Crash every one of them.
Anyway,
That's amazing.
yeah, shocking. Pay the jury.
Make a motion to pay the jury.
Second.
Motion been made, second, to pay the jury, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no reduction. That is. Committee reports. Redevelopment did not meet.
We didn't meet, but we will open those bids for the tax certificate sale properties on the 26th at our organizational meeting.
Planning zone
Did not meet.
Courthouse security did not meet.
And you want to take care of your.
See, we dealt with, well, got to do the salary ordinance amendment, I guess.
Yeah, salary ordinance, a long-winded salary ordinance amendment, but long story short, it's just, there's a couple, three more clerical errors that I found doing this and working with the payroll clerk. The first three on this are simply that. the dispatcher's line, the commissioners and the council lines, didn't have the 3 at, 4 at, 7 at values correct. Missed it. A lot of things to go through in that process, so I'm correcting those 3 lines that way. The next 4 are to handle the positions. When we set the part-time rates, we set the permanent part-time rate at $12.50 an hour. That took out, those were not salaried positions at that point anyway. They're part-time. And so what we had decided when we adopted the budget and salary ordinance that those would be $12.50 an hour. The regular part-times were $12, as you might recall. Those hourly rates were listed in the ordinance, but the bi-weekly rate was listed as well. It's just part of the calculation of that sheet. So we're removing those because the appropriation amount is not exactly perfect to what $12.50 an hour would be at a maximum number of hours a week. So there's some rounding error involved with all that, so we removed that. Now, some of them had them removed, so they're not all here. The ones that were not were corrected with these next 4 amendments here. And the last one is for putting the part-time nurse line on the salary ordinance, as agreed in December, that we would fund that position at 29 hours at $30 an hour with the additional hours and the additional salary per hour coming from local health trust. So that needed to be amended on there. Next month we will do the additional appropriation for that for the first 3 months of the year. I've written it at $7,410, which is what is that, 14 hours per week at $30 an hour plus 15 hours at $10 an hour to get that all equated out. If we move that forward from March, then we'll add another additional to do it for another 3 months or whatever the council agrees to do. And we'll amend the salary ordinance again at that point.
Taking steps.
Yeah, and these are, all of these are my errors in the creation of the ordinance taught by, mostly by the payroll clerk. So cleanup work.
And we will have to re-advertise these.
Yes, and you should have the electronic version to send over the Sentinel. It can be sent now.
So we'll need a motion to do that cleanup.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to amend the salary ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. We got through that pretty fast.
You did get through that pretty fast.
Anything else?
Are we going to take a position on that? You guys got that?
I think it's, yeah, I don't know if we are, but I absolutely support what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
What is it? Why don't you talk about it a little bit? I guess I haven't even read it, so.
Well, it's we got this from the Association of Counties, and reforming the motor vehicle account use restrictions, which limit a county use to 50% of the fund for construction, reconstruction, some things like that. And our state senator is on the committee, I guess, that is considering this. And what the Association of Counties is standing is that they'd like for it to go to 30% instead of 50%. So the moral of the story is they're saying let your person know that. And like Roy said, he thinks that's a good move.
Yeah, as you're aware, the highway department has 2 funds, 1176, which is the old normal NVH fund that you've all known and loved for years. And then the last few years they had to create 1173, which is a sub-fund of it, which houses the 50% of the state MVA distribution that you can only use for a few things. we have not been dramatically affected by it yet, but we soon will, because we had reserve in 1176, because none of the salaries can go into that, none of the benefits, none of the repairs to the equipment, purchases of equipment, any of that stuff can be used with half of that money, and that's the lion's share of the revenue to that fund. Now, 50% of it goes into gravel and to asphalt and stuff, which is good, and we would still do that, but you have to, it hasn't changed how we spent yet, but it is very difficult to balance the two of them at this point, because the revenue is falling and the balance is falling in 1176, and you can hardly spend enough in 1173 at this point, because of the fact that you're still trying to balance the sum of them together. And neither one of them can go into the red.
Yeah.
It's a difficult problem to handle. So I would support that.
Now, let me be fair too. The bill does drop it to 40, but the county organization
Right.
wants to go to 30, and so
The
obviously.
bill
they're saying-
also adds snow removal in as
Yeah.
an acceptable
So
use.
they're making some headway to help us, but the association feels we could go the other step. So I don't know.
Well, we certainly couldn't, I mean, if you want to conjure up a letter to send to Boots and Baird and Morrison, or that we support
Well, I didn't know
something
whether,
like that, or-
I didn't know whether Randy, I mean, sure, he's got this and what the commissioners were going to do with it, if Randy was going to deal with it anyway, but I thought he might be at the meeting today, but not there. But it doesn't say when they're going to hear it. At least I didn't see Roy.
No, I haven't seen it, and I haven't looked to see if it's on the schedule anywhere.
Right.
It's 209, right? SB 209?
7.
207.
So,
Well, I see nothing wrong if you all are supportive of that. We could come up with some kind of letter, regardless, I guess, of what. I mean, we just write it on behalf of ourselves. I don't know. I mean, I could contact Meese about it. He's out of state right now, if you would like me to. Or
it doesn't say when they're going to meet again, the committee.
They're meeting very strangely, obviously, this
Yes.
year.
Yes. I don't remember reading what committee, the name of the committee.
Well, I'll tell you that in just a second. Refer to the Committee on Appropriations, the Senate Committee on Appropriations.
Okay. Yep. They met
Today,
today. Yeah, the
it's on the
meeting.
agenda, it's the
Today.
only bill on the agenda today.
So I guess we're
They're
too
meeting
late.
now.
If
Well, I guess we could watch it, and then if it moves from committee, we could always express to them.
well, and when it goes to the other house, we can
Start
make a change
maybe,
there too.
Hopefully, if it passes the Senate,
If they-
then it'll
yeah.
go to the House.
I mean, really, we didn't really get
No,
a lot of
we
heads
didn't
up
let others.
from the association.
No, not really. Boots is a majority member on that
Yeah.
committee, so it might not be a bad idea to send something to him anyway. They won't vote on it yet, but he's certainly going to have influence in getting that out of committee.
I just thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Anything else? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. See you next month.